What's up, you beauties? Welcome to the High and Wide Hockey YouTube channel. And the Flyers come from behind from a 2-0 deficit to win in overtime tonight by a final score of 3-2. I'm Jim Michkov. If you're catching us live on YouTube, make sure you smash the subscribe button and hit the alert so you never miss a show. And for all the podcast listeners out there, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcast or Spotify so you're first in line when our newest episodes drop. Flyers, like as I mentioned, come from behind 2-0. This one was a snooze fest for the first two periods tonight. The Flyers come back with two third period goals, and Magic Matvey Michkov wins it for the Flyers in overtime. It was a 4-on-3 power play for the Flyers, and they had some good passing. I believe Konechny and Travis Sanheim had the assists on the goal, which I do have, so we'll get to that right away. This is going to be one of our quicker post-game shows. But let's get to the game-winning goal from Matvey Michkov. I know you guys are dying to watch this over and over, and so am I. It was a pretty play, pretty passing play, and let's admire also the pass from TK, the sauce pass over the stick of the defender, right onto the tip of Matvey Michkov's stick, who just buries it. Let's get to the goal.
Give it back to him. Sanheim looks to Konechny. Konechny. In front, they scored! Who else? Matvey Michkov with the overtime winner. 3.
What a sight. Yeah, as I mentioned, this game was not very pretty. The Flyers, I thought, opened up tonight's game. They looked like they were going to be the better team. They had a ton of scoring chances early, and then Chicago ended up getting a goal. I think the Flyers had like a 4-on-2 after a Blackhawks player fell in their offensive zone, and the Flyers couldn't capitalize. Play went back the other way. Blackhawks go up 1-0, and I thought the Flyers looked kind of, like shell-shocked or something ever since that goal. I don't want to say Chicago looked like the better team because they're not a very good team, and it was evident throughout the game. The Flyers just couldn't finish. They were playing okay. I don't want to say Chicago was outplaying them, but the Flyers by no means at any point tonight, in my opinion, looked like the better team until the third period. And so let's get to some of the highlights throughout tonight's game. Lucas Reichel, I mentioned, got the scoring started for the Blackhawks, assisted by Patrick Maroon and Connor Murphy, two players with ties to the Flyers organization. Connor Murphy's father, Gord Murphy, was a coach, an assistant coach for the Flyers years back. And Patty Maroon, drafted by the Flyers long time ago. Patty Maroon would also show up on the score sheet once more as he scored his first goal of the season in the second period, another second period where the Flyers lose, assisted by Reichel. So two 2-point players tonight for the Blackhawks, and Lucas Reichel and Patrick Maroon. Good for those guys. Sean Couturier got the scoring started for the Flyers in the third, and that's when things I thought kind of turned around a bit for the Flyers. They looked like, okay, well, we're within one. Let's go get another one. Ristolainen with a pretty passing play to find Sean Couturier camped out in front, beating Peter Mrazek to make this a 2-1 game. Travis Konechny had the second assist on the goal, his 13th of the year at that point. And Noah Cates would get his first goal of the season, assisted by Bobby Brink and Tyson Forster. Bobby Brink, I thought, had a lot of jump tonight. He, in my opinion, could have been, maybe aside from TK, the Flyers' best forward of the game. And I was talking to some of the guys up here in the press box tonight, and of the Flyers' young forwards, and I'm talking Tippett, Farabee, Brink, Forster, Bobby Brink, in my opinion, he doesn't belong in the category of underachieving young players this year. I thought he's had some jump to his game for a while. Maybe he started out slow, but he's past that, I think. And arguably the best Flyers young forward, but maybe the Flyers' best forward, most consistent forward of the night. So Bobby Brink gets his 7th assist of the season, and Noah Cates gets his first goal. Maybe now we start to see a few more come in, go between the pipes there for Noah Cates. He's had chances. Maybe that's the floodgates. Maybe that opens the floodgates. And then overtime, of course, Matvey Michkov, his specialty, scores his 7th of the season. It was a power play goal, assisted by Travis Konechny and Travis Sanheim. The 14th for Konechny and the 8th assist overall for Travis Sanheim. The Flyers outshot Chicago tonight 37-21. They dominated in the faceoff dot 63-36, and they scored on 1 of 3 power plays for a 33% power play, and they killed the only penalty that they gave up. So numbers wise, good overall game from the Flyers. They put themselves in a 2-0 hole, which if they keep doing that if they do that against good teams, not going to be too many, 3-2 overtime comebacks against good teams. So lucky that it was Chicago. They got the 2 points and they improved their record. Let's get to Jim's notes here real quick. And then we'll get to any comments we have. I'm going to keep this one a little shorter today. I'm sure you guys can tell getting over a cold here. All right, Jim's notes. This was the Michkov versus Bedard game. And while I thought Bedard looked okay at times, he was invisible for lots of tonight's game. It wasn't the Michkov Bedard game I think that we were all hoping for, or at least expecting. Obviously, Michkov able to win the game in overtime, and great for the Flyers and great for Flyers fans. Patrick Maroon with the 2-point night. Good to see there were scouts from other teams here kind of joking what's going on with Patrick Maroon. He looks good. He's having the game of his life, things like that. So good for Patrick Maroon. Happy that it was in a losing effort. And the Flyers improved to 9-10-2, which I believe separates them from Pittsburgh for sole possession of the basement in the Metro Division. Okay, so the Flyers actually leapfrog a few teams here, and I know there are a bunch of games left to come today. So heading into today's game, the Flyers were in a 3-way tie for last place with Pittsburgh and Columbus. With the win today, they leapfrog the Islanders and put Columbus and Pittsburgh behind them. So they're now back into 5th place in the Metro Division, 5 points behind the New York Rangers, who had 3 games in hand. So, it's not great, but a win's a win, and they jump a few teams there, and maybe they needed this one. Maybe this gets the confidence going heading into Monday night's game, who I believe is against the Vegas Golden Knights. So pretty big challenge coming up. Overall, so far for the Flyers, they're now 2-2 on their 5-game homestand. So a win Monday would give them a over 500 record for the 5-game homestand. Next week, we're looking at a slate of 4 games for the Flyers. They have Vegas Monday, then they travel to Nashville on Wednesday, and they'll be back home for the Black Friday game at 1 p.m. versus the New York Rangers, and they end the week with a road game out in St. Louis. So another tough week for the Flyers. We'll see how they do. They finished this week 1-2 with the overtime win. So, yeah. Let's get to some comments here. Linden49 chimes in. Coots winning the draw was key. Kolosov not bad at all either. Yeah, he did give up a stinker, but the Flyers were able to overcome it. Olsen, how did Frost look? Morgan Frost to me looked like Morgan Frost. Few turnovers, maybe trying to force things. There are simple plays to be made. And he decides not to make the simple play. Maybe he puts himself in trouble at times. Did he have jump? I guess. Look, I'm not trying to sound like a negative Nancy on Morgan Frost. I'm just telling you what I see from my perspective. The fancy stuff sometimes gets him in trouble, and tonight I thought it did a few times. But that's the kind of player he is. So as long as you have the right line mates out with them who can, compensate for the mistakes, because there will be times when those plays pay off, I guess, right? Olsen, I don't want Pittsburgh getting the number 1 pick in the draft. Yeah, me neither. Certainly not. So, guys, I'm going to keep this one short. I mentioned I'm a little bit under the weather. I'm going to try to get home and get better for Monday. So, for HW Hockey, I'm Jim Michkov. I'll see you guys Monday night. If you haven't checked out our Morgan Frost trade video or our Bobby Brink and Joel Farabee rumor video, make sure you guys go check that out. Give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll be back Monday night. See you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.